WRLR.
Welcome to the Dave Mierswa Show, the cutting-edge talk show about legal, political, and current issues. Practicing in both Wisconsin and Illinois, David Mierswa is a leading trial attorney bringing nearly 2 decades of business law, family law, personal injury, and estate planning experience to you. The Dave Mierswa Show, about the people, for the people, and bringing justice to the people. The Dave Mierswa Show, its guests, agents, and WRLR are not rendering any legal advice. All listeners are encouraged to seek legal advice from properly licensed and qualified professionals.
Welcome back to the Dave Mierswa Show. I'm your host, attorney Dave Mierswa. I'm on every Sunday live from 12 noon until 1 p.m. here at WRLR Studios in Round Lake Beach. So, I was just talking about the White House censoring an audio clip, and the only reason why they reposted it was because the underground media and YouTube and you listeners out there put up a fight and they switched it. So whatever on that one. Moving on. This has been in the news all week long. Chris Matthews was doing an interview on Trump on abortion. And I won't say anything more about it. Let me just play it and then we'll do some comments on it.
Should the woman be punished for having an abortion?
Look,
this is not something you can dodge. If you say abortion is a crime or abortion is murder, you have to deal with it under the law. Should abortion be punished?
well, people in certain parts of the Republican Party and conservative Republicans would say yes, they should be punished.
How about you?
I would say that it's a very serious problem, and it's a problem that we have to decide on. It's very.
But you're
Are you
forbidding
going to
it.
say, well, wait? Are you going to say put them in jail? Is that
Well,
the
no, but I'm
punishment
asking
you're
you
talking about?
because you say you want to ban it. What's that mean?
I am pro-life. Yes.
What is ban? How do you ban abortion? How do you actually do it?
Well, you'll go back to a position like they had where people will perhaps go to illegal places.
Yeah.
But you have to ban it.
You ban it, they go to somebody who flunked out of medical school.
Are you Catholic?
Yes, I think
And how do you feel about the Catholic Church's
Well,
position?
I accept the teaching authority of my church on
I know,
moral issues.
but do you know their position on abortion?
Yes, I do.
And do you concur with that position?
I concur with their moral position, but legally,
I know,
I get to the question. Here's my problem.
No,
with
no,
it.
but let me ask you, but what do you say about
It's not funny.
your church? Yeah, it's really not a funny thing. What do you say about your church? They're very, very strong.
They're allowed to, but the churches make their moral judgments. When you running for president of the United States, will be chief executive of the United States. Do you believe in?
But you...
Okay, that's where Trump said that initially that the women ought to be punished if they had an illegal abortion. Then later he kind of he remixed what he said. He got into a lot of heat. The left media on this was just waiting for him to not make such I wouldn't call it a complete mistake, but he wasn't clear on his issues. And at this point in the presidential race, you better have your stuff together. You better have your stuff together so when you are surprised like a question like this, you would have had a better answer. So he retracted kind of what he said. This is what he said afterwards.
There's big reaction today to Donald Trump's controversial comments on abortion.
Critics from all sides are condemning Donald Trump this morning for saying that he would punish women for having abortions.
Donald Trump, yes, said something controversial yet again on the campaign trail.
The campaign trail rocked again by controversial comments.
Interrupted with this exchange with MSNBC's Chris Matthews.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Trump's campaign quickly backtracked with this statement saying if abortion was illegal, the doctor or any other person performing this illegal act upon a woman would be held legally responsible, not the woman. The woman is a victim in this case, as is the life in her womb. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is coming to the Donald's defense.
I think he obviously misspoke. He put out a
What do you
statement.
think about when you hear stuff like this? If that's the case, he misspeaks a lot.
Well, listen, I think everybody in public life misspeaks.
Candidates on both sides of the abortion issue condemned his comments.
But to punish a woman for having an abortion is beyond comprehension.
You know, that comment was wrong, and it's the latest demonstration of how little Donald has thought about any of the serious issues facing this country.
Okay, so that was the audio clip. Trump went back and kind of retooled a little bit, and then came out and said it should be left up to the states' rights and so forth. And then possibly, if it is illegal, the doctors should be punished and not so much the women. So I want to shift gears here. At the beginning of 2016 in January, and you can go to my website, law540.com, law540.com, I made some predictions in 2016 that Obama was, because he's in his last presidency, thank the Lord, it's Sunday, so I wanted to thank the Lord. This is the last year of President Obama being in the White House. But putting aside my opinion here, I predicted at the beginning of the year that Obama, since it was his last year, and he was a lame duck president, he didn't care about anything else really other than his agenda. And I warned Americans, and I warned your friends and listeners out there, that he's going to close GITMO no matter what happens. And I said it, he's going to get Americans killed. Here's an audio clip talking about freed GITMO prisoners and them re-entering the battlefield and killing Americans. Let me play this clip.
Presence. Now, Castro's comments also come at a time of heightened attention on the prison at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Cuba, as you know, wants it back. The president simply wants to empty it of all its prisoners. But at a Foreign Affairs Committee hearing last Wednesday, it was reported that a detainee released from the prison has killed an American. That from Paul Lewis, member of the president's team that is studying the potential impact of closing that facility. Now, we did reach out to the White House, and while we haven't gotten a great deal in return, we did learn, however, from a senior administration official, not necessarily here at the White House, and that official said, listen, we can't exactly say, because it's classified, exactly what may have happened to a specific detainee upon his release from the prison at Guantanamo Bay. Now, that's a nice way of saying it may have happened, it may not have happened. We're simply not able to say.
Okay, they were saying because of intelligence, they couldn't admit or deny that it happened, but sources state that GITMO prisoners, the terrorists, the radical Islamic terrorists that are in GITMO were released, and that they have been killed by these released prisoners. Americans have been killed, as well as other Westerners. Okay? I don't make this stuff up, folks. I just report it. As an attorney, you know, it just, every weekend I try to bring you things that matter to this country. I try to make you aware of things that the White House doesn't want you to talk about, and they don't want you certainly to have an adverse opinion to them. Well, let me tell you, I hope that you guys get fired up out there. I hope your friends and listeners really enjoy the show. But it is a serious show. I just played an audio clip where these GITMO prisoners are going back on the battlefield and killing Westerners and Americans. And also, not that the Westerners take a priority, but they're out killing other Muslims. So, I have nothing against religion. I have nothing against Christians. I have nothing against Jews. I have nothing against any religion, including Muslims. Okay? I do have a problem when we have people that are locked up. We have killers that are locked up and they're released, and then they're going back on the battlefield to kill other people. I got to switch topics here. I got literally 3 or 4 minutes left, and then I want to answer an email that I answered last week. and then I'll be back next Sunday. So, I have an audio clip here. There was a big deal about Apple. It was the U.S. government via Justice Department versus Apple. And Apple, as we all know, makes the iPhone. And there were two radical Islamic terrorists out in San Bernardino that were killed, and they wanted to have the information on the iPhones, and Apple said no. They came out and told the judge, no, we're not going to do that. I got an audio clip as to the latest as to what happened on that.
Has broken the lock on the iPhone of one of the terrorists in the San Bernardino massacre. This may end the legal battle with Apple that could have defined privacy for the 21st century. A judge had ordered Apple to help the FBI, but Apple refused. Chip Reed is following this late-breaking story. Chip?
Well, Scott, after that mass shooting in San Bernardino in December, investigators found the iPhone of one of the two shooters, and they wanted to get inside it to learn everything about them that they possibly could. So they asked Apple to help them. Apple said no, because they did not want to set a precedent for violating the privacy rights of iPhone users. The Justice Department then sued Apple, and a federal magistrate agreed with the government that Apple would have to cooperate. Well, today the Justice Department withdrew from the case and issued a statement saying, with the recent assistance of a third party, we are now able to unlock that iPhone without compromising any information on the phone. So, Scott, at least for now, a major point of contention between privacy advocates and law enforcement agencies in the Obama administration has been put to rest.
Chip Reed at the White House this evening. Chip, thank you.
Okay, that was an audio clip by CBS. And you just heard that the FBI was able to crack the phone of one of the terrorists from California that got shot and killed. And just before I played that, let me repeat again. I tell you, friends and listeners, I am not afraid to label what needs to be labeled. I am not afraid to talk about topics that need to be talked about, and also putting who the enemy is to America. And I'll say it again. Radical Islamic terrorism. Okay, I had to say that one more time because our president, and there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to say that. One of the biggest enemies to all people, to other Muslims, is Islamic radical terrorism. Okay, folks, if I say that enough, you're going to hear it, and then maybe you'll say that. And someone who's afraid to, then maybe you'll stick up to them. Okay? So I got about 3 or 4 minutes left here. And I tell you, I got so many audio clips, and I just don't have enough time to play them all. So I got to kind of pick and choose and highlight what has been the most important stuff of the week. So let me remind you, this next Tuesday is Wisconsin primaries. So you're going to see all the presidential candidates back in the news up in Wisconsin. So that's pretty cool. And I'm always on every Sunday at 12 noon. Okay, and to remind you, WRLR has a free app that you can put on your phone or tablet. And it really makes it great. So if you're out buzzing around, all you listeners out there, you can just bring me up on your phone. Okay. And then before I forget, and all of my previous shows are now up on YouTube, and also you can plug in at my website, law540.com, law540.com. Okay, so you can go to YouTube and just Google Dave Mierswa, 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 and I'm on YouTube now. I started that this last January. And within the next month or so, I will start podcasting as well. I told you folks that this show was going to grow, and I am starting to get a few emails in, which is fantastic. There was an email that came in 3 or 4 months ago, and I wanted to re-highlight this email because I think it's real important legally that you take care of yourself, not only physically and mentally, but also legally. Okay, so I got an email. Dave, love the show. What do I need for estate planning just a will? And the answer to that is no, just a will is not enough. If you have less than $100,000, then maybe a will suffice. But let me tell you, there's this thing called probate. And here in Illinois, if you own real estate or you have assets, I believe it's above $100,000, you must go through what's known as probate court. Probate court is where the state is all brought in and through the courts and all that. And if you want to avoid that, there's 5 main documents that you need. 5 main documents that you need. And the first one is a living revocable trust. Let me say that again. Living revocable trust. Living revocable trust. That keeps you out of probate court. And here's another thing is, all courts are a matter of public knowledge and public access. So if you file an estate under a will, everyone can go look it up to see what assets you have and all that. Under a living revocable trust, everything's kept private and none of it goes through probate. So no one needs to know what you have. Okay, connected with the LRT is a pour-over will. A pour-over will which is connected. Anything that doesn't hit the living revocable trust then hits the pour-over will. Okay, the next document that you need, the third one, POA of health, power of attorney for health. And I can't tell you enough, if you're rendered unconscious, you need a loved one, not a doctor, but a loved one to be making medical decisions on your behalf. So how do you get that done? Power of attorney for health. The fourth document that you need, power of attorney, a general or a durable power of attorney. Okay, this helps a loved one and or an attorney go out in your finances and everything else to keep everything running for you while you are rendered unconscious or you may be sedated. So you just don't know. So that's the fourth document. The last one, I can guarantee you, you can go call 5 estate attorneys, then ask them what are the most pertinent documents that you need for estate planning. They will not have this in their little toolbox for estate planning. And the last document that you need is a HIPAA medical authorization. HIPAA medical authorization. This allows a loved one to get medical records in case you need to form or get a second opinion or a third opinion. And let me tell you, doctors have what's known as hospital privileges. And if you need a specialized doctor, they may or may not have hospital privileges. They will not be allowed in that hospital. They'll say it's for insurance reasons, but it's to cover themselves and the money. Okay, so the 5 documents you need again. LRT, living revocable trust. Number 2, a pour-over will. Number 5, power of attorney for health. And then the fourth one is a general or durable power of attorney. And the last one is a HIPAA medical authorization. Okay, friends and listeners, it's the end of the Dave Mierswa show. I got to get out of the studio here. I got some great stuff I'm going to be doing this afternoon. You tune in next Sunday at 12 noon. I'm going to bring you an update on the Wisconsin primaries. I will also bring you some other cutting-edge topics that people are afraid to talk about. I talk about them live here on the radio. Friends and listeners, you take care of yourself now. You take care of your family. I will talk to you next Sunday at 12 noon. Take care of yourself now. Bye.